So look, y'all. In this video, this evil husband, realized he was going to death row. Yeah, he thought he got away with it, but time always catch up.
Up for her shift. A wellness check was conducted at her home. When officers arrived, they found the house completely secured. Both the front and back doors were locked, with no signs of forced entry. But then, they noticed something unsettling. The garage door was wide open. Inside, lying on the floor next to a hammer, was the body of a woman. She was identified as 46-year-old Dr. Teresa Sievers, and it quickly became clear that this was not an accident. She had been killed by blunt force trauma to the head, likely inflicted by the hammer found beside her. It appeared that whoever had killed her had not entered the home or stolen anything from the victim, so it wasn't a robbery gone wrong. This left police confused as to who would want to kill Teresa, and with very little evidence, investigators began interviewing people close to the victim, starting with her sister.
Teresa was the kind of person she didn't give a what you thought about her. Sometimes I'd be like, would you just calm down? Don't tell me to calm down. That's how she was. She was getting into a position where she wanted to start seeing patients less and less and get into large scale where she's asked to be speaking. She's been doing a lot of events. So she wanted to impact every person and load them with education and information so they can tap into the doctor within them and heal themselves.
Teresa, did she drink alcohol?
She drank wine. When you're doing the who'd won her, my sister is... I said to her just maybe a couple of weeks ago, what's going on with Sandra? Did you get rid of her yet and replace her? Because I know she goes, Dill, I finally went up to her and said, Sandra. Now they knew she was looking for another job because any email that Sandra sends, Teresa's husband, Mark, gets a copy. She said, I need you to look for another job because I need to move this practice in another direction and you're not going to be on. I can't have you part of it. So... was she a disgruntled employee? Obviously, we can't make any assumptions.
Annie makes a list of people she thinks may have killed her sister, and eventually, the conversation centers on Teresa's husband and her brother-in-law, Mark Sievers. Since Teresa had a very successful career and made very good money, Mark chose to be a stay-at-home dad to their two daughters.
Every single male that looked like this did it. Y'all been noticing that? Y'all noticed, yeah, just like I did. The last 100 videos I did and the male looked like that, he did it.
Everything Mark wanted, he was able to afford, thanks to his wife. In everyone's mind, Mark was the last person who would have motive to kill Teresa. Plus, he was out of town when Teresa was killed.
You wear the pants, you're making the money, but Mark worshiped the ground Teresa walked on. He was Mr. Mom. No matter, she could finish ripping him out like, Mark, I told you times, don't let the dogs out. I'm sorry, honey, you let. And then she would be doing something. He'd go, sweetie, let me get that for you. I go, how could you be so nice to her? She'd be like, shut up. So anyway, and he also had head trauma, I think, at one time. So he literally can't remember. Little shit like, if she said every day, I need you to take these 4 blankets and hang them on the line, he wouldn't remember. And it would make her insane because she's trying to run a business. He's raising the kids. She'd tell him everything 50 times and she'd be like, you're exhausting me. So that kind of stuff. Teresa always said, I'll never leave Mark. I won't ever do that to my girls. Recently, she was at least able to say, she goes, I feel like, and I told Mark this, you know what, Mark, I love you and whatever, but I'm not afraid if I just can't take you're driving me crazy kind of thing. If I had to leave you, I wouldn't be afraid. It wouldn't trouble me if I had to. But that wasn't anything we talked about. She wasn't having an affair.
She wasn't. How was their relationship? No. Some of the neighbors said there was maybe some arguing.
Oh, they always. Listen, I would leave with a headache. Okay, because they got those big high ceilings. I'll have to go outside, you guys. I can't take the acoustics. So they were always. That's why I'm thinking maybe when somebody heard her scream, they was like, oh, there's Dr. Sievers again. My sister was extremely loud. Okay, and she had a fuse like that. So if you did something wrong 2 or 3 times, she would yell. She was a screamer. She was equally loving, kind, and compassionate. She was intense. She was a screamer.
Any history of domestic violence where Mark either hit her or she was either hitting Mark?
No, never.
Any kind of no problems? She never confided there was any fighting with punching, hitting, kicking?
My sister would never tolerate. My sister would never tolerate that. What I'm saying is, she never said to me, "I think I'm going to leave Mark." But Mark was like I said, Mark worshipped the ground she walked on, and he would drive us to the spa when I came there. He'd be exhausted with the girls, the babies when they were little, and let me get you guys. My sister loved to go to her spa. Please tell me Teresa had life insurance. I go, I want to say she had like a good policy, like $100,000. She goes, Annie, I think it was more than that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Teresa said, she said, I need to have a good life insurance policy because I'm the breadwinner and God forbid anything happens. I need to make sure that my girls are taken care of.
What about Mark? Is there any possibility that Mark's seeing someone else on the side or behind your sister's back when she's traveling and she's so busy and doing everything? And
Yes.
Nope.
is there any possibility your sister either met another doctor, or met another friend, is with someone?
I would know. And the only thing I could tell you on that, and she even told Mark, she ran into a colleague maybe 3 years ago. Couldn't tell you what his name was. Somebody that she connected with. And they spent time together, nothing physical. And she just felt even guilty for having those feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And then she came home and she told Mark. So my sister would tell you right to your face if you were full of and if she strongly agreed with things that you were, I thought she would go too far sometimes. She's one of those people that she would have been leading walks for Martin Luther King and not caring if she got killed for it.
Sure.
So I know she definitely put a lot of people off.
Sure.
The next person to be interviewed was Teresa's husband, Mark. Almost immediately, the detective felt like something was off about Mark's behavior. He had just lost his wife, so the emotion was there, but it didn't feel genuine. It felt forced, like he was putting on a performance, and he wanted to make sure anyone who was watching knew how devastated he was.
I guess I feel pathetic, but at the same time, there's so much going on.
That's not pathetic.
But it's too hard. I feel that I could have stopped this from happening. How do I get over it?
It's going to take time. It really will.
Did she have her keys in her? Oh shit, she had my keys.
Did your keys? What sort of keys were they?
I don't believe this. When she had her keys, she has mace on her key ring. I tell her whenever you're leaving, going in dark at night, always have your finger on it. Your purse doesn't do any good. If you carry a gun, you have your hand on it. It doesn't do any good if it's not accessible. Can you tell me when she died? I need to know what she tortured was, what happened to her.
We can't tell at this stage. We're still working on that.
It does look like one of ours.
That's one.
Yeah, we have one that's very similar to that with the red too.
And that's yours?
Yeah.
So they're both your hammers?
Yeah, you'll probably find 6 more hammers too.
Okay.
He is the worst actor I ever seen. I'm not falling for none of this. Yeah, I'm not falling for a thing he's saying right now. It's going out the other area. Do y'all believe this man right now?
Couple that are very similar to those.
Okay.
Was my car pulled in forward or backed in? She probably pulled in forward.
Yours was forward. Yeah.
Because I always back in.
Okay.
It bugs the hell out of her. She goes, why do you back in? It takes so much longer. I'm like, I gotta take suitcases out of the back of it. When you leave, you gotta back out. I'd rather back in because I'm more alert. I'm not gonna bump into anything, you know. Can I make a note? I have to call Michelle or whatever her name is who's taking care of the dogs, letting her know I'm not gonna be able to take them back.
Sure.
Teresa.
Does she have a pair of black shoes with like a floral design with
Oh yes. Flip-flops. She bugs the hell out of her. Just buy a nightstand. I just don't see the need. This works fine. I have a little lockbox on top, and it's right there.
The detective leaves the room, but Mark knows there is a camera recording his every move.
Who has a key to the house? My mom? Oh my God, Teresa. What could I have done? If I was with you, this wouldn't have happened. If I came back, this wouldn't have happened. I'm sorry I didn't come back with you. I love you, Teresa. Oh, calm down. Teresa, help me do this. You have such a message to spread.
Another detective enters the room, and he asks Mark to go through everything again. The goal here is to see if they can catch him in a lie, then use the lie to confront him.
It's normal. It's normal.
I'm so bad.
Yep.
I go through.
You will. Everything you're feeling is right. Everything you're feeling is right. Just take your time. Breathe. Breathe with me.
Life is so much better this than I am.
It's okay.
I should have been home. She really is on track to change the world. She has her own TV show. She was going to take healthcare to a whole other level. I'm not going to say I'm sorry.
New subscriber alert.
Just breathe. Go slow breathing. That way you get oxygen and it makes you feel better. In through the nose.
Hyperventilating. Thank you.
There you go. See?
Okay.
You're good. Take your time.
Can
Okay, Stone
we
Cold.
get some photos from you guys of Teresa? The last photo I took was her saying a mirror was over her face. We couldn't see her face. Is there an opportunity when all this is done to get some photos from the airport?
Oh, of how she appeared?
Yeah.
I imagine I could try and pull some still images. I could look into that. Just remind me, because there's a lot going on right now. But later on, if you remind me, we'll see what we can do. Do some breathing with me, all right? Try and hold it in a little bit longer. See how good that feels? There you go.
Is there a possibility the dog spit the hell out of somebody? He says no. He didn't think that was the case.
Not that we observed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was hoping.
Me
Take
too.
the DNA. You know.
Anything we can get, trust me. We're looking at all ideas, and anytime you have an idea, I'm interested in it.
I got to ask you a question.
Sure.
I should have. Okay.
You can ask me whatever you want.
The first day, Jamie and Captain Murphy came out to the house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful as how they did. Thank you guys. Before they left, they said, we're going to do everything we can to catch them. Is that just me hanging at every single word and
Yes.
dissecting it afterwards? Is there proof of more than one person?
The way when we say, let me answer your question.
Is it generic?
Is
Like
it
magic?
generic? Is it generic comment?
Okay.
That's all it is.
Because then, of course, I'm here. I picked it up hours later.
Sure.
And I'm thinking, was she tied up? Was she
Nope, that's
tortured? I mean,
Right. That's fair.
if someone
these are-
screamed at 4 in
I'd
the
be-
morning. It's like, what happened?
That's the same questions I would have too. No, that's you pay attention.
And this is something I wanted to ask whenever we got here, and I just
No problem.
forgot.
I don't mind you interrupting at all. It's no problem.
So far, Mark has claimed that he has no idea who would have wanted to kill his wife, and he is devastated that she is dead. Before wrapping up the interview, the detective has a few more personal questions for Mark.
Do you have any reason to believe that Teresa was engaged in a relationship with anyone else?
No.
Do you have any reason to believe that Teresa was engaging in any kind of sexual activity with anyone else?
No.
Have you ever had an issue in the past with any infidelity in your marriage that you're aware of?
No.
Have you ever cheated on your wife?
I've never cheated on her, and she's never cheated on me.
Have you ever had anyone have an unhealthy obsession with either you or your wife or your kids or anything?
I absolutely can't think of anybody that would have been fit a bill with that at all. I can't think of anybody, any situation that would want to hurt Teresa. That is more of a robbery scenario versus malicious.
Well,
and this sounds malicious because those questions haven't been asked yet. Now, I don't know your timeline. Maybe they get down the road. I don't know.
We're going to get there with the pictures. We're going to finish. We're taking our time with your house because we have one chance to do this right.
Take all the time. I told everyone,
going to.
you take a month if you need it. I don't want it, but I mean, if that's going to, if you can find something in that house, do it.
Breathe.
If she walked in on somebody robbing the house, if somebody followed her home, if somebody was waiting for her.
Right.
So I was like, I don't know. These are thoughts. And it's like,
Sure.
I want to carry my gun again. I can't today. Not just because it's in the house, but because I need to be able to be in a clearer state. How could you have been hit? Did you surprise somebody coming in the house? Teresa? I love you. Sorry. Sorry. It's happening.
Mark was allowed to go home while the investigation continued. The police had no physical evidence, no leads, and no suspects. A week
Mark, get out of my face, man. He over here doing all this, breathe. Man, if that ain't the worst acting I ever seen, yeah, he going to jail, y'all. He finna go to the big house. It ain't no way that the detectives ain't see straight through that. He a
Would
terrible
pass,
actor.
and the police would receive a phone call that would eventually lead them to two men who they believed were the killers, Curtis Wayne Wright and Jimmy Ray Rogers. This is Curtis's home, which was located in the state of Missouri,
I don't trust nobody who you gotta say all three of their names for it to make sense.
where Jimmy lived as well. Initially, both men told police that they had not been to Florida around the time of the murder, but police were able to get a search warrant for Curtis's home and his vehicles. Inside his car, police found a GPS, and it showed that not only had Curtis been to Florida, but on the day of the murder, Curtis left his home, picked up Jimmy at his residence, and together they drove to Mark and Teresa's home. Investigators also found surveillance footage from various stores, showing that they both had been in the area at the time of the murder. Detectives interview Jimmy's girlfriend, and she tells them that Jimmy had confessed to murdering Teresa with a hammer while they were both lying in bed. This was more than enough evidence for the police to arrest both Jimmy and Curtis and bring them both in for interrogation. They begin with Jimmy to see what he has to say.
I think you know why I'm here. So, what I want to do is talk to you. I want to know your side of things, because right now, all I know is what I've been told by everybody else, and I don't think it's fair to hear other people's stories behind your back. With these rights in mind, will you still talk to me now?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, you going to jail anyway. You instantly went home, laid up, and just started talking. Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't
But I
worry
would
about it.
like to know
Don't
why
worry
I'm
about it.
being questioned whenever I answered your questions.
I'm confused. You just told me you won't talk to me, but now you're re-engaging me. Will you still talk to me after I read these rights?
No.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
Am I going to a federal hold facility?
Eventually, yes. Yeah, we'll come get you.
Alright.
Okay,
I
so
thought that's what you all was here to do.
no, I'm here following up on a homicide.
Jimmy immediately asks for a lawyer, so the detectives move on to Curtis. Before beginning the interview, detectives are surprised to learn that Curtis and Mark were very close friends. They grew up together in Missouri, and they remained close friends, despite living in separate states. With this new information, investigators began to realize that Teresa's husband Mark was somehow involved in her murder.
A lot of questions I ask, I already know answers to. So, what I want to submit to you, because you're obviously highly intelligent, is I know you use more than one phone, number one, okay? I believe Mark Sievers involved you in something that he never should have. Some ideas and thoughts and plans that never should have happened. Either way, here we are. So what I want to ask you is, are you the kind of person who is a monster and randomly kills people, or are you the kind of person who has had a hard life and has their best friend begging them to do something they shouldn't have done, or they may not have done directly, but they should not have helped plan it or be involved in it at all?
Neither.
I have your own family putting you driving down to Florida in a rental car.
Oh, man. So the husband tried to pull a fast one. So this what happened. These are his friends that he thought he can count on, but they not the smartest of people. They are low on funds and down on their luck in life. He refused to even work out to make himself look better and to find more attractive people. So most likely he just taught to anything and everything that's walking around with no standards. No standards equals a bad life, if you didn't know that. Two, the husband was just trying to use the wife life insurance money, and he was gonna pay them off and do all that and try to live a whole happy, healthy life without the wife. But yeah, that ain't gonna work out because police already seeing straight through it. But yeah, that's what was gonna happen. He probably got a girlfriend on the side of somebody he been talking to. You gotta remember, they said that she disrespect him. She be talking, yelling. No man on this world, on this planet, is gonna allow you to yell at them every day. And if they're being nice to you after you yell at them every day, run. You might as well just stop talking to them. If you yelling at a man every day, he don't say nothing to you, your day is coming. I'm sorry to tell y'all that. But that's just like, that should be common sense at this point, right?
Are leaving your phone behind, which I know you know. I know you have another phone. So you left that phone behind because you knew if something like this happened, we would look at your phone records.
No, nothing like that happened.
Why were you down there in Benita Springs?
I wasn't.
Where were you at?
This is obvious that I thought I was coming here to help you.
You are helping me.
So
Where did you go in Florida?
I guess I'm done talking.
Before they bring him to jail, the detectives allow Curtis to speak with his wife.
I told them they're crazy, that they just don't even know you, because my husband wouldn't do anything stupid like that. But you're like the most wonderful, gentle, awesome person I've ever met in my life. I just don't understand. I don't understand how anyone could think anything like that about you.
They don't know me, sweetie. They're just doing what they think's right. They'll figure it out.
Neither Curtis nor Jimmy would give detectives what they wanted, but there was more than enough evidence available for both men to be charged with first-degree murder. While Curtis was sitting in jail awaiting trial, he made a deal with the prosecution. In exchange for his testimony against Mark Sievers and Jimmy Rogers, he could plead guilty to the reduced charge of second-degree murder.
Okay. So take your time, start from the very beginning, and try and give us everything you got right up until the time that you're arrested.
Mark and I have been friends most of our life. Mark and I talked privately, and he mentioned that, having problems. After we had talked about the problems that they were having, he asked me about a hypothetical situation, if I knew anybody that, would be willing to help him.
Curtis would finish his story in front of a jury during Mark's trial. Mark had finally been arrested in connection with his wife's murder, and Curtis's testimony was a crucial piece of evidence that would be used to prove his guilt.
Mr. Wright, who killed Dr. Teresa Sievers?
Jimmy Rogers and I physically did it. Mark Sievers was also involved in the planning. I was asked to do it.
By whom?
Mr. Sievers. Mark had told me that there was this money available to be offered, the $100,000 or more. And then later, actually, 150 was brought up. But he said that because it was insurance, that we'd have to wait 3 months or so, however long it took for the insurance. And so one of the things, and he also knew that part of the planning of this was to make it look like it was she walked in on a burglary. So
when you got there at 6 o'clock, in the morning, did you know that nobody would be home?
Yes.
How did you know?
Mark told me. Initially, kind of looked around in the garage. Jimmy was kind of poking around stuff, found a hammer in one of Mark's toolboxes. And
where were you when she got home?
I was in the middle of the garage. I was actually standing in the middle of the garage looking at his motorcycle. So I was admiring his motorcycle when the garage door started to open, the light popped on. Yeah, when the light came on, I dove because I didn't want the headlights to hit me. You could tell that she was dragging luggage out. So she had got her luggage and started bringing it. She brought it to the front of the van, which at that point I could see I could see her from behind.
And when she entered the house, what did you do?
I panicked. I jumped up and I followed her into the house.
When you followed her into the house, did you pick up anything?
I did.
What did you pick up?
I hit her. I hit her with the hammer.
You hit Dr. Sievers with the hammer?
Yes. I approached her. She was walking away from me.
What did she do when you hit her in the head?
She didn't seem to respond much. I thought that it would knock her out. I didn't hit her hard enough. She continued to turn towards me and was trying to defend herself.
She fought?
Yes.
She fought for her life?
She was surprised. I actually think that she thought I was Mark. She said, "Why?"
Once Curtis finished his testimony and the remaining evidence was presented to the jury, a verdict was reached.
Mr. Sievers, I've been told we have a verdict. These things are tough, and I'm not going to have any outbursts. Okay? I mean, if you can't handle it, you should wait in the hallway and let someone tell you after we have the verdict.
In the Circuit Court of the 20th Judicial Circuit, in and for Lee County, Florida, criminal action. Verdict. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Conspiracy. The defendant is guilty of conspiracy.
Mark Sievers was found guilty of murder, but the question remained, should he receive the death penalty or life in prison? Mark was allowed to read his statement before the judge told him his fate.
Is it okay if I refer to my notes?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Although a jury found me guilty, I am innocent of all charges. As I have maintained, since this heinous crime took place. I love my wife, Teresa, and our 2 daughters, Josie and Carmi, with all my heart. Our girls have tragically lost their mommy, and now they're about to lose their daddy as well. Therefore, I respectfully ask the court for life, as not to compound their loss and suffering. I am grateful, however, that the court can only determine my fate on earth while my soul is in God's hands, and God knows the truth. Although I cannot feel remorse for something I had absolutely nothing to do with, I am deeply saddened that Teresa was taken from us. Teresa is my soulmate. I will miss her and cherish our memories until we are reunited in heaven.
Did he just say something he had nothing to do with? I'm pretty sure you had the most to do with it. Yeah, you can't make a plan without starting it. Like, you know, like he made a whole plan from start to finish, and you said you ain't okay.
Until then, I will fight this wrongful conviction until I am proven innocent and set free to rejoin my family.
Despite his pleas for mercy, Mark was sentenced to death. Because Curtis cooperated with the prosecution, he was sentenced to 25 years in prison. This left Jimmy, and even though he didn't murder Teresa, the judge believed that he deserved life in prison.
Mr. Rogers, is there anything you'd like to say prior to sentencing, sir?
No, sir.
Mr. Rogers and Mr. Severs have been found guilty of different offenses, so they can't really be compared either at this point. So they're all 3 separate and distinct, and I don't think they can really be compared as far as punishment goes. I guess it is somewhat of a conflicted verdict given the fact he's been found guilty of murder as a principal, but without a weapon, but a weapon clearly was used. And I don't know if that was an attempt by the jury to, because they feel your client was taken advantage of because he's younger, or they felt he wasn't as culpable or as involved, or that they didn't like the fact that Mr. Wright got second-degree murder because there was no mention of a weapon, but the mention of what his charge was and what he pled to was mentioned. However, I will say I've been on a felony docket off and on now for a total of almost a decade, and this is probably one of the most horrific. I can only think of 2 that might be worse that I've actually had, and that's arguable. And the fact that even if it is as a principal, that he picked those suits out and he got the duct tape and he drove all the way down to Florida with that given time to either bag out of the plan or to not be involved anymore. He didn't. I am going to sentence him as a PRR. I am going to adjudicate him guilty of both counts. For the misdemeanor, it's credit for time served. There is a life sentence is warranted, and as a PRR is warranted. His involvement, I think a life sentence even without the PRR would be warranted.
Jimmy would receive life in prison for helping Curtis and Mark kill Mark's wife. As far as why Mark wanted to kill his wife, that can be broken down to 2 factors: money and marital problems. Mark stood to gain not only all of his wife's money and assets, but also a substantial life insurance policy. Their marriage was on the brink of divorce, and Mark was about to lose everything that Teresa had given him. To this day, Mark continues fighting his murder conviction, as well as his death sentence. Teresa Severs was not just a victim in a tragic case. She was a brilliant physician, a devoted mother, and a woman on the verge of doing something truly meaningful in the world. I would love to hear your thoughts on this case, so please share them in the comments.
I can tell y'all exactly where everything went wrong at. So when people are, you want to know what everybody who did all this stuff got in common? They went to high school. They all went to high school the whole 12 years, sat in class, tried their hardest in school, did homework. You could tell because you can just tell by the way they think. This is a template thinking. Like, it's like you ever seen people, you be like, dang, they all got the same brain? Yeah, they all got the same brain because people out here still think that you can just kill your spouse, get the life insurance and live. And you just saying, time after time, you saying people go to jail, you still gonna do it? Time after time, yeah, I seen people go to jail for the same plan that you're trying to do. And you're gonna do it. And you're gonna do it. It's template thinking. I keep telling y'all, these was the people who went to school and got brainwashed. These the people who went to school every day and didn't realize what school was really for. These the people who didn't realize that school was really just a babysitting program. That's it. To teach you fake history. Cause if you even look at the stuff you was taught, it was fake or you don't use it. When I was 16, sitting in classroom, I asked my teacher, when has she ever used any of this stuff in life? And she couldn't give me a question. That's when I realized, yeah, y'all babysitting us. Yeah, y'all babysitting us. Yeah, I came less and less. And then when I see how easy it was to graduate high school, because I got out of the matrix of thinking I got to read every book here. No. Did y'all, look, this is one of them people like who just got manipulated by the world. A stay-at-home dad, that's cool and all, but it get to a point where, nah, no female is going to respect the man who's staying at home all day. They just don't. And y'all can say whatever y'all want, but we all know. In this day and age, if a female is the one that's the breadwinner, then it's gonna always be problems. Just like in this video, how she was saying, "Oh, she yelled at Mark all the time. Oh, she just constantly yelled at him. I don't know how he kept his composure. He didn't. He didn't. He didn't keep his composure. He was just plotting and planning." And then after she said, "Yeah, if I was to leave you, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be scared." Yeah, okay. Y'all don't put two and two together. I seen this from the beginning. I seen this 5 days ago. I'm like, oh, he's gonna hire somebody to kill her, use the life insurance policy. He out of town, so he think that alibi work, and he just the worst actor of all time. You was in the interrogation room trying to act, and it was terrible. It was just out of this world garbage. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. But yeah, these people like that think like this, they never did nothing in the real world. They don't know the real world. They are structured thinkers. You got to remember this. It's a lot of people, if you went to school your whole life, you don't know what the real world is. You don't. That's why kids who get out of college and people who get out of college and all this, that's why they don't be getting jobs, because jobs be like, I need this person, that person with experience. You be like, well, I was in college for this. Like, how am I gonna get experience? And I was just in college for it. You can't get a job. Yeah, because the real world is vastly different from school. A lot of jobs don't want to teach nobody straight out of college how to do this job. Like, dang, you ain't gotta, like, you don't know what to do. You ain't never did this in real life. Like, you can go to school to be a mechanic, and then you can be a mechanic for 40 years. Which one you think no more? Oh, okay. Yeah, the one who had to live through life and fix all these cars know way more than the one who went to school. The one who went to school only learned the books and had limited thinking and limited programs. He was in a limited setting. He don't know how to do every single car in the world. A lot of people who went to school for cars don't work on every car. Did y'all notice that? Oh, I don't like foreign cars. I don't like this. But the man who been working on cars for 30 years that didn't go to school for it will work on every single car that you could put a supercar in front of him and he'll work on it. Yeah, I know a man who will work on a Charger, a Lamborghini, a 01. It don't really matter. Yeah. But he was just caught up in just common thinking. Like, I don't know. You gotta be thinking like a common unintelligent person. I don't know, man. Like, you just get scammed over the phone and stuff. Like, it don't make sense to me. You really thought that the old I'm going to kill my wife and get the life insurance policy was going to work? Like, if that's not the oldest trick in the book, like, police been on that. They know that that's the ultimate goal. Like, if you can get all this money from somebody dying and you get like a boost in life where you can just lay back and get whatever you want, you don't think they're gonna watch you? Okay. Yeah, people need to put two and two together, use their brains, and watch the people you're around. If somebody was around, look, y'all think I'm playing. If I see anybody who went through kindergarten through 12th grade and they didn't question nothing, they didn't almost drop out, I can't relate to you in the world. If you didn't either drop out or barely make it, I can't relate to you in the world. And I ain't talking about because you didn't know the work. I'm talking about because you realized that it was just a programming stage. Like, it's just programming. Again, you used to go to somewhere for 8 hours a day. So you can be like, oh, yeah, I'm smiling. It's in your brain already. No, I wasn't okay with that. I knew it didn't take me 8 hours to make no money. It don't take you 8 hours to make money. I don't care what nobody's saying. School try to make it seem like that's what the world was. Yeah, man, I wouldn't have got me a job when I was in school. And don't even get me started on my W-2s and all that, W-4s. I'm filling out them forms when I'm 16. I'm like, bro, I went to school snapping. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Shout out to the teacher who listened to me and actually printed out papers and taught us how to taught the rest of the kids how to do it. Cause I already had to learn. Yeah, man. He was one of them people who went to school, got basic grades, graduated. Everybody like he a good guy. Yeah, he wasn't nothing. He wasn't no good. She was gonna leave him, and I could see why. Yeah, she was gonna leave him, and I could see why. Hit that like and subscribe button. RP to the Miss Doctor lady, cause man, I don't even want to. She shouldn't even. Y'all should change her name back to her maiden name. I ain't gonna lie. I wish y'all can do that.